There's a new version of the Volvo XC40 Recharge, their EV. Personally, I wasn't that keen on the old version. I don't know if I ever said that on the channel, I probably did. The new version I would absolutely consider. I am still a bit intrigued though. The new version has a different battery pack. It's got different motors, it's got more range, but the efficiency still seems a bit off. The battery pack is quite big now. It's one of the biggest battery packs in a car this size, making it compelling value for the money. I'm a bit kind of surprised though by the fact that the rear-wheel drive model has a pretty good range. The all-wheel drive model has a much lower range than what you would expect of a car with a battery pack this size. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. It's great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking, and I do like Volvo cars. In fact, we just own one and we just sold it before we went to Thailand. It was about 8 months ago now, and it was a good car. It was relatively trouble-free. So that was an internal combustion model. Unfortunately, that wasn't the XC40. I would have much preferred to have the XC40, even with its lower range back then. Now, speaking of range, what is the range of the new version? And is it worth your time considering it? Well, first of all, the battery pack size for the new XC40 and the C40 Recharge, so two different electric cars here with the same battery, has gone from 78 kilowatt hours to 82. So it's only a 4 kilowatt hour increase in size, meaning around approximately a 5% increase in battery pack size. Generally, because this increases the weight of the car, we don't get the same, improved range. Then you don't get a 5% improvement in range, but there has been though. EPA tests show that the range has increased by up to 31 miles in the case of the all-wheel drive model. And now the rear-wheel drive model gets basically 300 miles of range. Pretty good range in this car for the price. So, range in the C40 Recharge rear-wheel drive is 297 miles. The Recharge all-wheel drive is 257 miles. The XC40 Recharge range 293 miles, and the XC40 Recharge all-wheel drive 254 miles. So approximate 40-mile range loss if you get the all-wheel drive version. That's quite a difference. I mean, that's what, 65 kilometers less range if you get the all-wheel drive version. Big difference. However, this is so much better than the old version because the old version had around 223 miles of range. Massive, massive improvement. Clearly, Volvo put a fair bit of work into improving the efficiency of this vehicle. I mean, they're not providing these numbers. These numbers are coming from the EPA. So they seem to be indicative of what you'd probably get in the real world. Now, that said, it doesn't have a lithium iron phosphate battery pack. So you wouldn't want to charge this thing regularly to 100%. So real-world range is going to be a little bit lower than that number. What does this mean though? On average, both models are about 1/5 or around 20% more efficient than the previous model. Now, they're still not as efficient as I think they could be. I mean, both of these cars, XC40 and the C40, they're relatively small cars, obviously a bit smaller than, say, a Tesla Model 3. So this is a fairly big battery pack. And yeah, the range is definitely significantly improved, but still, what is the reason the range isn't even longer than what it currently is? Well, it's weight. Most manufacturers are struggling to keep the weight of their EVs down. Without structural battery packs, without giga castings and things like that, it is more of a challenge to reduce the weight of the car. Energy consumption, including charging losses, of the 2024 Volvo C40 Recharge rear-wheel drive is 107 miles per gallon. Electric, of course. Well, that's 315 watt hours per mile. What would be the highway range? Highway range would probably be around 260 miles for the rear-wheel drive version and 230 miles for the all-wheel drive version. That's similar across the board. Highway range in an EV is lower, usually by around 10% versus range of not driving on a highway. That's just how EVs work. Obviously, you're not using regen, driving at faster speeds, more wind pushing against the car. And the XC40 Recharge and the C40 Recharge, they're both pretty good cars, but there's going to be a better car coming soon. That's the Volvo EX30. That'll be cheaper. It'll be apparently mass manufactured to a greater degree, meaning amortization of costs, enabling Volvo and, of course, Polestar, the Geely Group, to continue to reduce the prices of their electric cars. That's the car I would be considering getting from Volvo, but it won't be out until around about probably mid-2024. Now, smartly, this is an intelligent decision made by Volvo. They've put 19-inch wheels on all models of these cars. And that's a reasonable size wheel. It doesn't look ridiculous. It looks totally fine. If you put on a bigger wheel, if you go to 20-inch, it's going to reduce the range 5%. Put on an even bigger wheel, 21, it's going to reduce the range again, and so on and so on. Now, unfortunately, we don't yet have the price for these new upgraded models, which I think you want to wait for this car. I really wouldn't be buying in 2023 on the run out, considering these improvements. There's probably going to be some other improvements in the car mechanically as well that you might not know about, but I think it's definitely worth waiting for this. If the efficiency is improved by this much, then something probably been some pretty major changes to the car. Base price though, it's still relatively expensive. The base price is $53,500 for the XC40. And the price for the C40 is $55,000. Now, of course, the price is different to that in the UK, in Europe, in Australia, in New Zealand, everywhere else. And this is a car worth having a good look at if you're in the market for, say, a smallish electric SUV. But if you're in that market, hey, the XC30 pretty much fits that bill. And it's going to be a better product, I'm hearing. So wait around for that one. At least that's what I would be doing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.